What's the name of the song? That's right. I get by with a little help from my friends. Whose song is it? The Beatles. It's true of most groups. I only knew the person in the lead. But the Beatles, this is like more than 50 years later, I still remember the name of all the Beatles, as do a lot of you. Now, why is that? And I say it's because the Beatles had something that the other groups didn't have. And that's what made their music last and made them better. And this is what they had that is a good lesson for all of us. They had teamwork. They had amazing teamwork. And I heard something really unusual on Stephen Colbert's show a couple of months ago. He had Paul McCartney on, and Paul McCartney said this. You might not be aware of this, Stephen, but every single song we recorded had to be approved by everybody in the group. Everybody tried to make the song better, but we'd only record it if all four of us voted to record it. They actually made decisions by consensus, by agreement. That was remarkable. So the Beatles had different players, and each of them brought something else to the team. And you want to have a really strong team? What do you need? You need people who are not like you. You need people who see the world differently. You need a team in terms of diversity, in terms of race and culture and gender. You need a team where some people are great data analysts and some people are great communicators. You need people who have great human relation skills and people who are task-oriented, because every great team that I've ever known that becomes what Rick Dufour calls a professional learning community, if they're really great, what are they? They're diverse in all those different ways. And here's the reason we need that. Because the kids that you teach every day are incredibly complicated. And then if you have a class of 32 kids, it's that complication times 32. Which is why it's very difficult to be a really good teacher, because you have so many needs to minister to. And nobody can do that by themselves. So if you have a team of professionals, and you share ideas, and you share strategies, and you help each other figure the kids out, we have such a better chance of reaching them. That's what I think we learned from the Beatles. I hear you. Well, I have been with you about an hour. I feel now I trust you. I feel like I can reveal something to you. I always wanted to be a temptation. It's not that funny. Well, I'll tell you, well, maybe it is. I'll tell you what, if I start that song, and you sing it, I heard a lot of you know the words, and you sing it, I'll even give you the first verse. If you just sing one verse, I'll show you what I got, all right? Here we go. Well, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl, my girl, my girl. Now, then what we learn from the Temptations is you got to move together. Because isn't it true that if you're a teacher in a classroom and your whole class is learning, and all the kids are making progress, and you're teaching and you're getting other kids to help and you're working with your team to help those kids learn in your class, there's this great feeling. And if your whole team and department is learning and everybody's moving and the whole school is making progress and you're part of something bigger than yourself, it's some of the greatest feeling in the world to be part of that, because you're moving together. Louis Armstrong, Satchmo. When you hear that song on the radio, and he's the one singing it, can it be anybody else? No. You know it's him. And so the last lesson I have for you from this last legend is the one that sounds the easiest, but yet it encapsulates all the others, and it's actually the hardest to do. And that's to be authentically yourself. Because when you show kids the real you, the person who dedicated your life to teaching them, they feel the real you, and it means more to them than anything else. So here's my last teacher story for today. Joseph Andrews taught 4th grade at South Lake Elementary School. Our younger son, Ben, had Mr. Andrews. And he said something at that back-to-school night that has stayed with me forever. And I can't do it as well as he did it, but I just want to give you the gist of it. He said, "Welcome, parents. Thank you for coming to South Lake's back-to-school night. I want you to know there's no place in the world that I would rather be than here teaching your children." Now fast forward with me till June, when my son is 18 years old. He's graduating from Watkins Mill High School. And Mr. Andrews said, "Hi, Ben. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Steinberg. You know, Ben, you're my last group of 4th graders who are going to be graduating from Watkins Mill High School because I'll be retiring soon. So you're the last class that I'll see through to graduation, and I just wanted to see you all one more time." And then, because he looked sort of like a 60s kind of guy with the hair and all of that, he was wearing this brown leather pouch thing. And he reaches into the pouch and he pulls out little 3x5 photographs of Ben and all the kids from 4th grade from when they're 9 years old that he's kept all these years. And we're looking at this big, tall, handsome graduate, and we're looking at his 9-year-old self with all his friends. You see, he meant it when he said there was no place in the world that he would rather be than with our kids. The man did not even have a ticket to graduation. I was so glad a cousin didn't show up. I said, "Take this ticket, Mr. Andrews. Come with us." Because you see, that's what a really great teacher is. That you love teaching so much. But Mr. Andrews, who you would walk by on the street and not notice, is one of the most important people in our son's life. Because he was authentically himself. And our son knew that and felt that. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Big finish. I think to myself. You're all right. So don't leave yet. All right. Now you could tell that I really like music, right? And so I highlighted 10 musicians for you. But who do you think were the real legends that I was talking about today? The teachers, that's exactly right. Because if you do these things, if you're sincere and optimistic and you don't accept any limits and you participate along with your kids and you hold fast to your principles and you put the message across and you're daring and use high energy and you use teamwork and you move those kids together and you move together as a staff, and most important, that you are authentically the person that you set out to be, the person who dedicated his life to teaching and her life to teaching children. If you do all of that, then here's what I promise is going to happen. You're going to be the legends that your students are never going to forget as long as they live. And there's no greater legacy than that. Thank you. It's been wonderful working with you.
Thank you.